All right, everyone, let's go ahead and do some more interesting stuff with the turtle library. All right, so you can actually see the power of this very simple yet effective library to build interesting stuff. So the first thing I want to do is, if you remember, when we actually run our code, we get this screen that appears for a second. One of the things we can do is actually we can have that screen not go away, and we can have it go away with a click. And the way you do this is that you actually call this this like function inside it. So I'm going to say my screen, and we're going to say exit on click. This is a command that you can call, and when you actually call this, what is going to happen is that it's going to have us it's going to close the screen when you actually click on it. So if I actually save this and run, take a look. Now the screen is not going away. We got this screen right here. How awesome is that? So this is how this particular command works. So if I click on it, it's going to close that. Just like that, we actually did something with it. So that's the first step. Now there are a lot of different things you can do with this. For example, let's say I want to change the shape of the turtle, because actually run this, we see this pointer in the middle. Really, it's not really a turtle, right? It's just a pointer. So if you want to change that, one of the things I can do is I can actually go to this object. So I'm going to say Tom, and what I can do is I can call the shape. All right, so I'm just going to call the shape, and we're going to have this turtle. So we're going to call this turtle. All right, so basically what this thing is going to do is going to change the shape of this turtle. All right, or this like object that we are spawning here. So if I take a look, if I run this now, instead of that pointer, we're going to get this actual turtle. How cool is that? All right, so now, as I said, the turtle library is actually pretty huge, and you can do a lot of things with it. And the way you actually understand, if you want to know how I actually do this, is that you want to refer to the documentation of this. So there's a whole documentation about what you can do with the turtle library. So you see all these methods and all these like classes that you can call from it. So you can do a lot of things. For example, you can change the speed of it. You can actually have it move, which is something we're going to do in the next lesson. You can like have it move around. You can actually set the speed. You can do a lot of interesting things with it. You can even change the color, which is something we're going to do right now. You can have it write, clear, reset, like all sorts of things you can do with it. And the shape which we just did. Right? So again, you can do a lot of interesting things with it, and it has so many methods and functions and all sorts of things that you can actually use. So keep in mind, remember, going back to that car example, when you actually use a library, external library, like this turtle library that we're actually using in our code, you have two things, right? You got the object and you got the class. So the class is essentially like the blueprint, and the object is what you're calling, right? And then this, the object can refer to a lot of different things. For example, the object that you call can refer to a class, and also the object you call actually can refer to a method or a function. So again, like you can refer to a lot of different things, and that's why external libraries are very, very useful, because they can help you to just like do a lot of things without having to write this. For example, imagine we had to like code this entire thing to just show a simple screen on our computer. How how complicated that could be, right? How inconvenient that is to just write like hundreds of lines of code to just show a screen. So that's why external libraries are very, very useful. And I'm going to leave a link to the turtle library, documentation, so you can see a lot of like all the things you can do. Because in next video, actually, I want to like do the moving a little bit, like work with the motion, so you can see like a lot of interesting things you can do with this. But for now, one of the things I want us to work with is actually the colors. So if you remember, you can actually let me find that real quick. There you go. So you can actually work with the color of the library. So if I click on this, it's going to take me to this, and it's going to tell us, hey, so you can actually call this, you can call this, and it's going to allow you to change the color. So you can actually use the RGB colors, or you can actually use the predefined colors. So you got red, green, all these predefined, or you can actually use the, this type of color. I don't know, I forgot the name of it, but it's just related to web design and HTML. But yeah, you can actually use a lot of different ways to actually change the color. So, and I'm going to leave a link to this page as well. So these are predefined colors of the Python, and also predefined colors of the turtle library. And if, for example, if you want to change the color to orange, this particular orange, you just click on it, and it's going to give you the turtle name. So the turtle name is tomato. So you can actually change that color. And if you go back to our code, let me actually just copy this. If I can copy, there you go. So you actually go back to our code. The way you change the color is, again, you're just going to call the object, which is Tom in this case. And I'm going to say color, and I'm going to add a parenthesis, and I'm going to put it inside a string, because again, that's like, if you remember, that's basically how it works. It's telling us in the documentation that you want to put it in a string, right? So there you go. So just like that, we changed it to tomato color, or orange. Okay, so if I run this, there you go. So we changed the turtle's color from black to tomato or orange. All right, so that's basically how you work with these libraries, and how you work with these classes, and how you create objects from them, and how do you access attributes inside these objects. So guys, we're going to work on this, and we're going to actually make this move in the next video, so stay tuned and make sure you practice. And again, one of the things I recommend is taking a look at the turtle library documentation. I'm going to leave a link for you guys so you can actually take a look. You can do a lot of interesting stuff that, based on what you've learned so far, you should be able to really work with this, and you should be able to experiment with this. And that's what we're going to do in the next lesson. But again, I'm going to leave a link to these so you can take a look at it for yourself. It's a very useful thing to practice, and you can create some really interesting, funny stuff with it. So check it out for yourself, and experiment with this for yourself as well. Let me know if you have any questions, guys. If not, I'll see you in the next one.